Sugar Creek Loop is just west of Oklahoma City and located almost entirely inside Caddo County, Oklahoma. The trail is approximately 95 miles long and is rated easy a 3 out of 10 by Onyx Off-Road. And you may notice here that Onyx lists the trail as obstructed, but we'll get into that later in the video. On our way to Sugar Creek Loop, we decided to make one quick stop at a nearby local landmark. This landmark is in the tiny town of Cogar, Oklahoma, right at the corner of State Highway 152 and State Highway 37. The landmark is the abandoned W.S. Kelly General Merchandise Store. But the store is not famous for selling merchandise for nearly 60 years in western Oklahoma. The abandoned store gained its notoriety in June of 1988 when it was used as a filming location for the Academy Award-winning film Rain Man. The phone booth in the scene was just a movie prop put in place by the producers. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, I will not give away what happens in this scene. The interior of the building is basically untouched since 1980. After dropping off the rather cozy casita camper at Red Rock Canyon Adventure Park, we headed out on the trail. The Red Rock Canyon Adventure Park is located just south of Hinton, Oklahoma, and is the ideal place to base your adventure around the Sugar Creek Loop. We decided to take the loop clockwise out of Hinton. That will be very important to remember later on, that we're going clockwise around the loop. As you leave Hinton going clockwise around the trail, the roads are paved. And that will continue throughout the entire loop. You will alter between paved and dirt roads. But let's be very honest, none of us will take this loop with the intention of staying on a paved surface. Soon you leave those paved roads for what you came for, some dirt. And sections of dirt road like this are very common on the loop, just nice, fairly well-maintained gravel county roads. However, a great deal of the loop is also much more narrow, as you see here, and not as well maintained by the county. It's very common in the eastern part of the loop for the road to be sunken down 10 to 15 feet or more. And oh, by the way, as the roads were very dry, as you can see, I ran the Jeep in two-wheel drive for the vast majority of the loop. I only dropped the Jeep in four-wheel high a couple of times on the trail due to some sandy sections. I'm not sure that was really necessary, but you've got it, might as well use it. Of course, if the roads were wet or muddy, that would probably change things. We did come across one little water crossing in this section. Of course, I had to go for maximum splash effect. And here's an interior view in always cool slow motion. A great deal of the eastern section of the road is one track, but there's not a lot of oncoming traffic, so you should be fine. The biggest surprise of this eastern section is the sunken road you have so much of. You just don't expect to find this on the open prairie of western Oklahoma. Just to be specific here, this highlighted area is where you'll find most of these sunken roads. Now I do want to talk to you about this section of road right here. It's marked Road E1170 on Onyx Off-Road. And here on the overview map, it's circled in red. I did go ahead and put the Jeep in four-wheel high for this section. It is rather steep and the soil's rather sandy. Now, as you can see from the video, this stretch of road is not very well maintained by the county. It has multiple obstacles in the road and is rather bumpy. The end of this 1 mile of Sunken Road comes out here at the obstacle, which is a fence put up by a local farmer rancher. Now, why the county has allowed the farmer to place this fence across the road, I have no idea. If you're from Caddo County and know, please leave it in the comments below. The obstruction is right at the intersection of E1170 and N2650. The E1170 road is some of the most enjoyable stretch of the loop. I highly recommend do not skip this mile of trail. As a matter of fact, because of the obstruction, you get to go through it both directions. To get around the obstruction, we just backtracked to N2640 road, then went south to Highway 8 to return to the loop. You then continue east on Highway 152 until you hit the intersection of County Road N2910. After about 2 miles, you'll go west on Road E1180. Heading west on Road E1180 will take you to what is really the only difficult section of the entire Sugar Creek Loop. This E1180 road on the Sugar Creek Loop is another great section. Do not miss this road. As you proceed west on the E1180 road, you will eventually come to what appears to be 2 hairpin turns on the map. As you turn left at the first hairpin, you will be at the top of what is known as Purgatory Road. And trust me, it is steeper than it looks on camera here. This is why I wanted to point out that we did the trail clockwise. It's obviously easier to go down this hill than to go up it if you're going counterclockwise around the loop. The toughest part of Purgatory Road are these 2 ledges. The upper one's not too bad, the bottom one is more substantial. I did put the Jeep in 4-low to go down the hill, although I'm not sure that was really necessary. The Jeep did drag just a little bit on the skid plate going over the larger drop. When I got home, I did look at the skid plates and there were a couple scratches on them, but that's no big deal. That's what they're there for. And for those of you that are curious, the Jeep is a 2015 Rubicon running a 2-inch Terraflex lift and 33-inch tires, so nothing too crazy. Just for reference, as we went on down Purgatory Road, we met these 2 ATVs going up. They stated they could climb those ledges no problem. And I'm sure some of you are probably curious, but no, I never did try to go back up the hill at Purgatory Road. The rest of Purgatory Road is not as challenging. There is this one big drop off here, but it's really not that bad. But once again, going uphill would be a little more difficult. I did want to show you all of Purgatory Road so you'll know what you're getting into before you try it. However, I did speed this part up to double time just in the interest of saving some time. At the west end of Purgatory Road, the road opens back up and you're now at County Road N2700 and you turn south here. I went back with the drone afterwards and just happened to catch this guy going down those ledges in his 4Runner. Before we continue any further on the loop, I do believe I should ask you at least once to please like, share, and subscribe, because I know you'd forget otherwise. FYI, the southern section of the loop in and around the town of Gracemont is all fairly open and easy. You will alternate between paved surface, as you see here, and dirt. I couldn't find any information on this Chevrolet dealership, when it opened, when it closed, so if you have that information, please leave it in the comments below. Out in the western section, we did come across one more water crossing to splash through. Up near the northwest end of the loop, literally 100 yards south of I-40, you come across this area where a creek crosses the trail. I'm sure after a good rain, these waterfalls are a little more interesting. Right here at this little notch on the map on E1030 Road, we did come across one last cool water crossing. And yet again, I'm sure after a good rain, this is a little bit more exciting. The advantage of going on the loop in the dry season, of course, that the roads are dry and clear and mud-free. The downside is the water crossings are suboptimal and some of the other creeks are not flowing real well either. Just a little further east of there, the farmer's left a little decoration out in his wheat field. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the Sugar Creek Loop, please leave them below. I'll be glad to answer as best I can. Also, if you are from Caddo County or know why that section of the trail is closed, leave that in the comments below too. So get out there, enjoy your Jeep or whatever vehicle you have to go on the trails, because remember, bad roads lead to great stories.